Hey guys, welcome to another video. So like the video last time where we talked about how RMA stats of different brands stack up. So a lot of people of you DM'd us and commented that they want to know which is the best CPU cooler. So we went back to our stats again. See, data doesn't lie. So this is another stats video. And since you guys love watching videos like this, and we thought let's start where everyone is always worried about. How hot is my CPU running? But as you will find out through this video, that is probably the wrong question. So before we head right in, now, mandatory disclaimers. Yeah, this isn't for the entire data in the sense that there are different combinations. Like on 4900K, you guys must have chosen 20 different coolers. So we had to filter down the data to the sample size which was above a threshold, number one, because only then it makes sense. You don't want outliers to mess up your average. So to tackle this, what we did was, we picked two of the most shipped processors last year. Last year in the sense, the entirety of 2024, it was 4900K on the Intel side and 7600X on AMD side. Just as a reference base. This helps us definitely rank coolers on keeping that particular SKU cool. Makes sense now, doesn't it? Now again, before I get into the next point, it doesn't mean that any cooler which is not on this list is bad or worthless or useless. No, it doesn't mean that at all. What it means is this is the data we have. So yeah, that's a disclaimer right there. And disclaimer number two. Now, contrary to what a lot of people think, a cooler which is giving you a lower temperature isn't necessarily the better one. Huh? Wow, how can you say that? Cooler ka kaam hi cool karna hota hai and you're saying that temperature doesn't matter. It does and it doesn't at the same time. You may ask how. So think of it this way. For example, on two different coolers, you are getting the same temperatures at load, full load 100 degrees, because that's by design. Now 1400K will rarely, if ever, go above 100 degrees if you have a decent functioning cooler. It doesn't even need to be good. But what change happens between coolers is the maximum clock speed that it can go up to changes. The benchmarks on full load changes. So on paper, you're looking at the same temperatures, but in actual practical performance, you're seeing different performance. So yeah, I hope you understand that cooler doesn't mean better. Intel and AMD set target temperatures for their CPUs, beyond which they will start self-throttling so that the temperature doesn't exceed, for example, 95 degrees or 100 degrees, depending on the architecture. So yeah, regardless of cooler, you might actually end up seeing those temperatures. For example, in 5000 series onwards, AMD has set their temperature at 95, which also means that no matter what cooler you're going to put on it, if it's going up to full speed, it will go up to 95 degrees. It doesn't mean a cooler is bad. It means it's by design. There's an entire blog that AMD has put up on their website which talks about how those processors are designed to run at 95 for a lifetime. Now let's talk about the 7600X from AMD. The TDP is on your screen, and in our entire testing suite, we found out that even though this runs cool on an air cooler, like practically runs amazing on the AG400 from Deepcool, but the best possible performance that you're going to squeeze out of this is going to be through an AIO, the H100 in specific. And now CR23, that Cinebench 23, goes all the way up to 14,494 only when you have that 240mm AIO stuck on it. So yeah, air cooler works for sure. You probably don't need it. Now some people may argue it's a low TDP processor. Why do you even need an AIO? You need it if you want it to boost all the way up. It's as simple as that. There's about 100 megahertz difference between the two, the air cooler and the AIO. So this also depends on your budget, and if you can fit it in your budget, I think it's worth it. Just about 4,000 rupees extra for 100 megahertz. पता नहीं क्या कर लोगे 100 megahertz से, but yeah, काफी लोग कुछ कर लेंगे उसमें. And moving on to 14900K. Now 14900K is kind of notorious for having super high temperatures. When I say super high, there is practically no cooler which keeps it below 90 degrees. None. In our testing, we found that two Deepcool coolers, in specific LS720 and the Mystique 360 LCD, really perform well, with next up coming H150 from Corsair and CF360 again from Corsair. Yeah. But one key point to note is the data on LS720 is before the BIOS updates, when Intel has, intentionally throttled the processor. So maybe leave the LS720 out and start counting from Mystique, H150 and CF360. So we don't have testing data after all the BIOS updates on LS720 in particular. That's one asterisk. But if you would ask me which was the best CPU cooler for 1400K, it was actually the Corsair X7 block, the custom liquid cooling block. We saw the maximum CR20 scores, CR23 scores, and the maximum boost clocks only on the custom cooling block. So yeah, there you have it. This is our data. Deepcool is a reliable brand, so is Corsair. Corsair has been doing really well. So that was our video on the best CPU cooler you can buy. I know there is some stuff like Noctua missing from here. Doesn't mean Noctua is bad. I personally use Noctua. If you want to know any stats related to GPUs, do let us know in the comments. GPUs ki had tak we have a lot of data, tons of data. So if you like videos like this, press a thumbs up, drop a comment. It motivates us to share this kind of details with you. And yeah, that was us. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day ahead.